Chapter 399. At this time, Oliver still didn't know that his every move had attracted the attention of others. When the family left the scene and was about to take the plane back to Star City, they saw the black-skinned avatar from afar. Thea knew that the black-skinned woman was expressing that she had returned a big favor, so she could only nod slightly to show that she accepted. Although Oliver wasn't strengthened, he was born with good eyesight. When he saw Avatar, he reflexively stood in front of his mother and sister and looked at Avatar vigilantly. Avatar was a little stunned, but she immediately understood that Oliver didn't know about her relationship with Thea. The more she thought about it, the more interesting this family was. She didn't talk to them and left alone with a faint smile. After returning to the Quinn family's old house and having dinner, Moira rested alone, leaving the siblings some space. "Let's go out for a walk," Oliver suggested. Thea nodded and the two went outside. Aye. The two walked to the empty tombs of old Robert and Oliver. Thea didn't know how to explain. "I know something about you. Haven't I been on the island for the past few years?" Oliver smiled and said, "Yao Fei told me. You don't know, right? He returned to Purgatory Island." Thea opened her mouth slightly. It seemed that Yao Fei's illness hadn't been cured yet. Why did he go back for no reason? This old man couldn't live a good life, right? Needless to say, since he had seen Yao Fei, he must have seen Shadow as well. Thea scratched her head. "I'm sorry. I did want to save you from the island, but I was delayed. No need to apologize. I wouldn't have gone with you back then," Oliver interrupted her. With the grudge between the siblings gone, it was easy to talk. "Your skills are not bad. Did old man Yao Fei teach you again?" Thea had noticed this the moment she met him. It was hard to tell how strong Oliver was in the original spacetime, but Thea compared the Oliver in front of her with the people she knew. She felt that he was about the same level as Nightwing, or even slightly stronger. Talia was currently busy reorganizing the Assassin League. It was impossible for her to teach Oliver. Thea felt that the two of them might not even know each other. Then, combined with old Yao's experience of returning to Purgatory Island, it was not difficult to guess that Oliver had undergone new training. "You don't need to use those weird tricks of yours. Do you want to spar?" Oliver sent out a battle invitation. "I'm not afraid of you." After a few days of acting, Thea was itching for a fight. The siblings came to the backyard of Quinn's old house, where there was a large training ground. Unlike the original spacetime, Moira's physical fitness had greatly increased. She could also exercise her body at ordinary times. Thea recommended karate to her, which was easy to learn. She could crush ordinary people by relying on her attributes. She did not need to practice to become a master, but she needed to have the power to protect herself in an emergency. Competing in close combat? Thea watched as Oliver took 2 wooden swords from the rack. She had no objections. She coiled up her hair, rolled up her sleeves, kicked off her high heels, grabbed 2 wooden swords, suppressed her attributes to the level of ordinary people, and took a stance, waiting for Oliver to attack first. Oliver originally wanted to let his sister attack first, but when he saw her burst of momentum in an instant, he immediately changed his mind. Sharp, tough, and unrivaled could be used to describe Thea's momentum at this time. Although she did not attack, he knew that she was definitely a strong enemy just by looking at her posture. His sister was so powerful. The Thea in front of him was too different from the one in his memory. In the past few years, he had traveled extensively and seen a lot of people fighting, but Oliver had never seen anyone who could match Thea in terms of momentum. His competitive spirit rose, and he also became serious. Holding 2 swords in his hands, he cautiously observed, and then took the initiative to attack with his left hand and right hand. "Use your full strength." Thea casually parried Oliver's blow, and her right hand mercilessly whipped his arm. Oliver's reaction was very fast. His feet moved quickly, and his body moved horizontally. He cleverly used the wooden sword in his left hand to block Thea's 2 swords at the same time, and his right hand swept across her abdomen. Thea stomped on the ground and jumped back a step. At the same time, her body turned lightly in the air, and her wrist slashed across Oliver's body. The brother and sister exchanged more than 10 moves with speed, and Thea was a little surprised to find that she did not have much of an advantage. Oliver's close combat was taught by Death Knell, but unlike Death Knell, who had a fierce fighting style, his personality was not so aggressive, and he was more inclined to defend and attack. While his defense was tight, his attacks were also very sharp. At this time, Oliver had not yet reached his peak, but he already had some of his own fighting style. It was not impossible for him to catch up to Batman in the future. Thea felt that her brother's attacks were not bad, but Oliver was shocked by her. That day on Purgatory Island, Thea had mostly used magic to deal with the three of them. Oliver really did not know that his sister was so skilled. At this time, Oliver had already surpassed Death Knell's old teaching, and had his own understanding of fighting. But no matter how he changed his moves, he could not break through Thea's defense. Thea sensed Oliver's competitive spirit and secretly laughed. She did not want to beat her brother on the first day they met. After all, they grew up together, and their relationship was much deeper than Tommy's. In order to save Oliver's face, Thea secretly lowered her speed by 20%. At this time, Oliver was finally able to keep up with her attacks, and the two of them exchanged more than 10 moves before stopping. Thea finally confirmed her judgment. Oliver's close combat was similar to that of a Nightwing. Considering his outstanding talent for long-range attacks, he, with a bow and arrow in hand, was only second to Madame Shiva and Batman among ordinary people. He was slightly stronger than the Nightwing Talia. The siblings had no interest in continuing the fight, and strolled on the back mountain covered in leaves. What exactly is magic? Do you know, Constantine? Oliver deliberated for a moment, and asked a question that had puzzled him for a long time. Magic is an energy application that ancient humans summed up from the demon language and various otherworld creatures to find the truth of the world. Why? Did you meet Constantine? I don't know him, but I know that this person has a bad reputation and is not a good person. Thea was puzzled. Oliver should not know Constantine. Hearing his sister's evaluation of Constantine, Oliver thought of something and smiled bitterly. He is indeed a bastard. I met him on Purgatory Island. At that time, he was looking for a magic ball. Horus Magic Ball? Thea was shocked. Oliver nodded, as if that was the name. Thea's heart was in turmoil, and she did not say anything. She took the magic ball, traveled to 1918, and gave it to Madame Xanadu. Could it be that Madame Xanadu buried the magic ball on Purgatory Island after that? After circling around, the magic ball still ended up in Constantine's hands, and Zakong still knew Oliver. Fate's adventure was evident. Chapter 400. That night, Sia called Oliver and Moira together and gave them the super gene optimization fluid that she had developed. She also explained the usage and matters that they should pay attention to. She also gave Oliver the diluted god's blood that she had prepared before. As for how he planned, that was his own business. If he had to reject supernatural forces like Batman, Thea had no other choice. She couldn't press his neck and give him a shot, right? Everything was voluntary. The opportunity was given to him, and the choice was entirely up to him. Early the next morning, Thea called the mother and son to discuss. She wanted to return the shares that should have belonged to Oliver. Oliver insisted that he didn't come back for the money, but under Thea's more determined attitude, he finally accepted the division plan. Quinn Group could be said to be old Robert's life's work. After all, Thea was not his flesh and blood. Now that Oliver had come back, it was reasonable to return his share to him. Moreover, Thea had already obtained her doctorate. The transformation of the new group into a high-tech group was a matter of fact. Thea didn't want to have a doctorate and be followed by a lot of construction workers and bulldozers. That image was too bad. With Oliver's primary school degree and his muscles, he was quite suitable to be a foreman. The new division was very simple. The original Quinn Group's building parts were stripped and given to Oliver. In the next few years, there would be constant wars, and the construction team would definitely not have to worry about starvation. It was just that the work would be very cumbersome. After getting rid of the construction part, only the new R&D department, the medical department, and the new polymer compound department were left. Thea's wealth, which was originally close to Luthor and Batman's, was cut in half. However, the staff was reduced by 90%, and the troubles were reduced by 70%. I'll let Oliver worry about the construction industry in the future. After 2 days of relaxing and happy days, the debate at the 5 permanent shareholders meeting finally spread among the higher-ups. Thea was urgently summoned to the Batcave. The P5 held a national meeting. Thea and the other heroes held a small meeting in the Batcave. Superman, the Martian Manhunter, Thea, Diana, and the landlord, Batman. There were exactly 5 of them. Thea had originally wanted to introduce the Martian Hunter and Diana to each other, but she did not expect that the 2 of them not only knew each other but were also quite familiar with each other. Come to think of it, it wasn't surprising. The Martian Hunter had been on Earth for 200 years, and Diana had also been in the modern world for more than 100 years. It was normal for them to know each other. Everyone, the Big Five, has been discussing the hundreds of thousands of aliens for 3 days. What do you think about this matter? As the convener, Batman was the first to speak. Let's heal their bodies first. I only glanced at them at that time. Many of them are already very weak. Superman was the first to speak. Only by confiscating their weapons can we provide them with food. The Martian Hunter also expressed his opinion. Thea and Diana also said something similar. The few heroes had similar views on this point. No one would say that they should kill all the hundreds of thousands of aliens. That would be too unjust. The initial plan was set, but there was an important disagreement on the follow-up arrangements. Superman, based on his own experience, believed that they should cultivate their feelings for Earth and even arrange a job for the aliens. The Martian Manhunter believed that they should be kicked out immediately. Diana, on the other hand, believed that they should be settled and divided into areas for them to live in. The 3 of them felt that they made sense. Their voices became louder and louder, but no one could convince the other. You met the president before you came? Batman watched them argue calmly. He was not anxious at all. He turned his head and asked Thea, who was also watching the show. Thea wanted to laugh when she thought of this. Mr. President actually thinks that we should settle the aliens in Afghanistan and withdraw the U.S. military. I'm dying of laughter. Batman snorted. You're going to New York tomorrow. What do you think about this? Thea did not think too much about it. She said firmly, accept them. The future of Earth needs to unite all the forces that can be united. They are also intelligent life and are not much worse than us. She could not talk about Doomsday and Darkseid, but this time Brainiac was also a big threat. Thea continued, did you see the robot on the spaceship this time? That was just one of Brainiac's countless clones. Krypton was so powerful, but it was destroyed. I don't think Earth can withstand it. Before Batman could answer, Superman, with his sharp ears, turned his head and asked, was Krypton really destroyed by that artificial intelligence? 70 to 80%. That's the result of the investigation by the Lanterns. There were many opinions about who destroyed Krypton, and Thea did not dare to say with certainty. Superman was immersed in the tragic death of his own kind. The Martian Manhunter and Diana were also not in the mood to argue. At the end of the day, they were all worried about nothing, and no one cared about their opinions. When Thea made it clear that she supported her lover, Batman considered carefully and agreed to Diana's relocation plan. It was a little far from the Martian Manhunter's goal, but it was still a compromise. He finally agreed, and Superman had no choice but to give up. The next day, Thea, who was getting better and better, had to go to New York to be questioned by the P5 and persuade them to pass the resolution. Professor Quinn. An old man asked first. Yes. Thea had studied hard for 5 years and finally got rid of the title of Mississippi. This incident had fully demonstrated her intelligence, and the title of professor in front of her name was well-deserved. Can't those aliens be sent back to their original planets? Thea nodded slightly. Gentlemen, among the 20 glass domes, the results of our investigation so far show that only 7 of them still have signs of life, and their planets have long been destroyed. Collecting the essence of the cities and destroying the others' planets has always been the Collector Brainiac's policy. Currently, there is only one planet that has not been destroyed after being collected, and that is Earth. After dealing with them so much, Thea also understood the principle of getting along with this group of people. She had to tell the truth to Batman, and it was best to scare them. The older you are, the wiser you are. No one in this room is a fool. Sia's unspoken words are not difficult to understand. What does this mean? It meant that the aliens were still coming. These people all understood the principle of driving the wolves to devour the tigers, and the two people who were originally tough immediately softened. Thea finished her statement and left. The debate in the room continued for another day. After Thea slept, they finally came to a conclusion. They would be concentrated in the desert of Nevada, and a coordination and supervision committee would be set up to solve all the conflicts between the aliens and the Earthlings. The main person in charge would be Professor Thea. What was this? Thea was a little amused. A real-life version of Area 51?